Since its release in 2003, Love Actually has become a Christmas classic. One of the best things about it is its seriously impressive cast. But where are all of these actors now? Well, the cast has gone on to enjoy some pretty surprising careers. Here's what they look like today. When Love Actually came out in 2003, Hugh Grant was already a staple of British romance films like Notting Hill and Bridget Jones's Diary, among others. With his signature floppy hair, his swoon-worthy grin, and his charming accent, it's easy to see why. In Love Actually, Grant stepped easily into his usual casting, the handsome, bumbling man in love, although this time he was also playing the Prime Minister. His adorable love story with his assistant Natalie is one of the most romantic in the film. Since then, Grant has grown out of his traditional casting and taken on some surprising roles. In Paddington 2, Grant portrayed a campy, over-the-top villain. Or in The Gentleman, Grant played Fletcher, a sleazy journalist trying to outsmart everyone else. In addition to branching out into more varied roles, Grant has also settled down and started a family. He told Vanity Fair that becoming a father has helped him to mature as an actor, as it helped him to experience a wider range of strong emotions.
And this is Natalie, who's my catering manager.
In Love Actually, the young Sam, played by Brodie-Sangster, is the adopted son of Daniel, Liam Neeson's character. After Sam's mother passes away, he becomes enamored with Joanna, an American girl from his school. Through the film, Sam builds up the confidence to pursue the girl of his dreams. It's an adorable plotline that never fails to tug at our heartstrings, due in huge part to the adorable, wide-eyed Brodie-Sangster.
She's the one.
Fair enough.
Chances are, you've come across the young actor since his role in Love Actually. In fact, he's had quite a few major productions since then, including projects like The Queen's Gambit and Game of Thrones. The sweet child actor is all grown up. Even though Brodie-Sangster has moved on to bigger and more substantial projects, he still remembers Love Actually fondly. He even told Interview that he still knows how to play the drums, which he learned for the film. When she starred in Love Actually, Keira Knightley was already pretty firmly established in the film industry, having starred in major films like Bend It Like Beckham and Pirates of the Caribbean. Even though her career took off as expected, Knightley has definitely surprised people with just how good her acting chops really are.
It's carol singers!
Give him a quid and tell him to bugger off.
Knightley has moved forward from Love Actually to take on some seriously challenging roles. In Pride and Prejudice, she played Elizabeth Bennet, the witty, free-thinking Jane Austen heroine. Some of her other critically acclaimed films include Atonement, The Imitation Game, and Official Secrets, to name just a few. In just about all of these roles, Knightley wowed audiences with her emotional depth and nuanced performance, and she picked up plenty of award nominations along the way. Excellent acting isn't the only thing about Knightley that has taken us by surprise. She's also ended up becoming one of the industry's biggest advocates for gender equality. In Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies, the actress wrote an essay in which she recounted the inequalities she experienced as a mother and actor. Colin Firth was already a familiar face for fans of romantic films when he starred in Love Actually as Jamie, who falls in love with his Portuguese housekeeper while on a writer's retreat in his rural summer home. Prior to this, he'd become a household name thanks to his iconic portrayal of Darcy in the 1995 Pride and Prejudice miniseries. As Firth explained to Good Housekeeping, this role led to him being typecast for years to come. His role as Jamie in Love Actually fit squarely into the mold. Eventually, Firth got bored of playing the same romantic lead. He decided he wanted to start looking into other types of roles to help him grow as an actor.
You learned English?
Just in cases.
Since Love Actually, Firth has managed to break out of this casting type and take on a few more interesting roles. Although he's still looking pretty good as far as we're concerned. He's done some dramatic heavy lifting in films like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and The Railway Man, and he's also joined the action-packed Kingsman franchise. Liam Neeson played Daniel in Love Actually, a heartbreaking character who loses his wife to cancer at the beginning of the movie and is left to raise her son. These days, Daniel seems like a pretty subdued and emotional role for Neeson. When he starred in Taken in 2009, his career took on a new course, and he became one of Hollywood's best-loved action stars. He even told Entertainment Weekly that he never imagined it taking off or him becoming a major action star.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
However, Taken was a huge hit, and Neeson hasn't really looked back since. He's even said he'd see scripts with leading roles aged up for him. He starred in multiple films in the Taken franchise, and plenty of similar films as well. It's clear that he's found a niche that has worked for him. Looking back at his subdued performance in Love Actually, it's pretty impressive to see what a huge shift he's made. Emma Thompson broke all of our hearts in Love Actually, as Karen, the wife of Alan Rickman's Harry, who finds out that her husband is cheating on her and breaks down in silent tears in her bedroom while listening to Joni Mitchell. As an actress, Thompson has gone on to play a series of iconic roles. To list just a few, Thompson played the titular role in Nanny McPhee, Professor Trelawney in the Harry Potter films, and many others. In addition to her thriving acting career, Thompson has also proved herself to be an impressive screenwriter. Her credits include Last Christmas, Bridget Jones's Baby, and many others. In 2019, Thompson, who had just turned 60, spoke to WebMD about what she wanted to do next. As she admitted, her career has pretty much been non-stop, and she's looking to slow down a bit. We'll see if she can hold herself to that. When he played John, the wholesome adult movie stand-in in Love Actually, Martin Freeman was probably best known for starring as Tim Canterbury in the British version of The Office. After a series of comedic roles, Freeman got his big break as Watson in Sherlock, the modern-day adaptation of Sherlock Holmes, before he landed the role of Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit trilogy. Suddenly, he was a household name. As he explained to The Guardian, Freeman has been careful to avoid being typecast as the nice guy. He explained that he wanted to avoid ever being seen as just that one type of actor, especially after getting started that way with The Office. While his role in Love Actually was certainly a lovable Tim type, he's made a serious effort to branch out since then. And by the sounds of things, we'll be seeing him in more and more not-so-nice roles in the future. Judy, played by Joanna Page, was the adorable counterpart to Martin Freeman's John. In the film, the couple meet while standing in for an adult movie. It's probably the weirdest, most awkward meet-cute in movie history, and Page appears to be just as sweet as her Love Actually character.
All I want for Christmas is you.
She went on to play Stacey in the hit British show Gavin and Stacey, unsurprisingly another super sweet character. Page explained to The Guardian that she is naturally bubbly and still very young at heart. It's no wonder she made a career out of playing similar roles. By the sounds of things, they're still the roles she's best suited to. In 2019, she took part in the Gavin and Stacey reunion and jumped back into the bubbly part with ease. These days, Paige's career seems to be pretty much defined by the role. As she told iNews, she said she doesn't mind being typecast as playing those types of roles comes so easily to her. Chiwetel Ejiofor is one of Hollywood's most sought-after actors, known for award-winning performances in films like 12 Years a Slave and Children of Men. When he played Peter in Love Actually, his career was just starting out. In the film, his character didn't have a huge plotline. Basically, he marries Keira Knightley, and that was about it.
Did you resist the temptation for surprises?
Yeah, I'm mature now.
These days, he's not only a Hollywood star, but also an undeniably excellent actor with loads of experience. In 2015, he told Interview that he loves the moment when everything connects between him as an actor and his character in a movie or film. Ejiofor doesn't plan on slowing down anytime soon. When asked where he'd be in 20 years, he said he still wants to act, but he also wants to get more into the writing and production side of things. Andrew Lincoln played Mark, one of Love Actually's most memorable characters, thanks to his iconic cue card scene with Keira Knightley. Mark, who loved his best friend's wife, was a quiet, forlorn, and somewhat creepy character, as co-star Chiwetel Ejiofor admitted to People. Ejiofor joked that he's the one who sent the zombies after Lincoln to get revenge, referring, of course, to Lincoln's career-defining role. In 2010, Lincoln was cast as Rick Grimes, the star of The Walking Dead. The show ended up being huge. He played the role from 2010 to 2018. This set up Lincoln as the poster child for one of the biggest pop culture franchises this side of Marvel Comics. It's pretty funny to look back at Lincoln's sad, love-struck character in Love Actually now, considering just how different he was to the zombie-killing Rick. However, it turns out his performance in the Christmas rom-com was what won him the role in the first place. Sharon Bialy, The Walking Dead's casting director, told Insider that watching his quiet, emotional performance in the film convinced her that he was perfect to take on the zombie hordes.
Enough. Enough now.
Hugh Grant's love interest, Natalie, was played by the EastEnders star Martine McCutcheon. Since Love Actually, her career has been a little more subdued than some of her co-stars. In 2017, she revealed to The Sun that she had been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome after going bankrupt in 2013. McCutcheon's struggles pushed her further into a depressive state, and she went on to say that she lost almost a decade of her life due to her illness. More recently, McCutcheon's mental and physical condition seems to have improved. She even pursued a music career. She had released several albums prior to filming Love Actually, and she returned to music in 2017 with the album Lost and Found. She explained that the album was autobiographical, documenting her struggles with mental health issues and her journey back from them. It's wonderful to see McCutcheon more like her old self again.
Right. So not quite as secret as we'd hoped.
Lucia Moniz was the Portuguese actress who played Aurelia, Colin Firth's love interest in Love Actually. Aurelia didn't have much to say in the film. After all, her character only spoke Portuguese. Nevertheless, we got plenty of expressive looks, and a few moments where Moniz got to showcase her emotional acting. While her role in Love Actually was pretty basic, Moniz has since starred in some hard-hitting Portuguese and English films. In 2020, she starred in the film Fatima, an English-language World War I drama about a real-life Portuguese story. Moniz plays the mother of a young girl who sees a vision of the Virgin Mary. In 2020, she spoke to Hey You Guys about how the role epitomized skepticism and cynicism, a far cry from Aurelia. Nevertheless, she did reminisce about Love Actually, even calling Colin Firth her savior. Sounds like even though Moniz has moved on with her career, she still looks back on Love Actually and her co-stars fondly.
That will be nice. Yes, is being my answer.
In one of the most tragic plotlines, Laura Linney's character finally hooks up with her major work crush, Carl, played by Rodrigo Santoro, only to be called away by her mentally ill brother. It becomes clear that a real relationship will never work.
I'm not quite sure it's going to be possible to get the Pope on the phone tonight.
Santoro as Carl was more eye candy than a three-dimensional character. However, with his wavy hair, brooding eyes, and killer body, he was the perfect casting choice for Linney's crush. Since the film, Santoro has taken on a few major roles. You might recognize him as Hector, the dreamy bad boy cowboy/robot in Westworld, though he's pretty unrecognizable without those iconic Carl spectacles. Santoro still looks back on Love Actually fondly after all these years. Apparently, his co-star Linney said she shared her best ever kiss with him. Speaking to People, Santoro echoed that sentiment. He then explained how she helped him through the film as it was one of his first roles since moving away from Brazil. Considering the substantial and differentiated roles he's played since, it seems the sky's the limit for Santoro. Kris Marshall played Colin, who traveled to America to find love because he thought he'd have better luck with girls across the pond. In a ridiculous twist of fate, Colin does end up finding a group of beautiful women who can't get enough of his accent in spite of his dorky looks. While you may not immediately recognize Marshall, the actor has actually had a pretty impressive career thanks to his comedic skills. After Love Actually, Marshall continued to make us laugh as Dave in Citizen Khan. However, he's also proven his acting chops throughout his career, as he played a more serious role as a detective in Death in Paradise and the troubled Tom Parker in the period drama Sanditon. These days, Marshall looks nothing like the young Colin. In fact, he's settled down and become a dedicated family man. As he said on Lorraine, he refuses to take jobs that take him away from his wife and kids for too long. He doesn't want to miss out on family time. Laura Linney played Sarah, the shy office worker who cares for her mentally ill brother and pines after the hunky Carl. Since the film, she has certainly shown her range. In fact, Laura Linney has definitely become a household name these days. Her impressive list of credits includes The Truman Show, John Adams, Nocturnal Animals, and Ozark, among many other titles. With Oscar nominations as well as Emmy and Golden Globe wins, Linney has secured her place in the list of the great American actors. She has also proven herself on stage in impressive Broadway plays beginning in the 90s. By the looks of things, the Love Actually team was lucky to have her. Despite her lengthy and seriously impressive career, Linney still has a soft spot for the Christmas movie. As she explained on The Graham Norton Show, people tend to feel sorry for her character. She laughed that her Sarah turned out alright in the end because she got to share such a great kiss with Carl.
Actually, I don't have to go.
Right. Good.
I mean...
No, that's good.
Love Actually certainly would not be complete without Billy Mack. Bill Nighy plays the washed-up rock star who promises to perform on live TV naked if his subpar Christmas remake of Love Is All Around reaches #1. When Love Actually was filmed, Nighy already had a vibrant career, and by the looks of things, not much has changed. An interviewer with The Guardian remarked how strangely consistent the actor was after interviewing him on 2 occasions 16 years apart.
Don't buy drugs. Become a pop star and they give you them for free.
Nighy has taken on a series of iconic roles in movies like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Shaun of the Dead, and more. But despite his lengthy career, which spans decades, Nighy still gets anxious about his work and hates seeing himself on screen. He is intensely critical of himself and tends to pick out the tiniest flaws in his performances. For our money, there aren't many, but it's crazy to think that this legend is so anxious. Olivia Olson played the young Joanna, who caught the eye of Thomas Brodie-Sangster's Sam. She didn't have many scenes in the film, but she did bring us her very own rendition of the Christmas classic All I Want for Christmas Is You at the climactic school Christmas show. It turns out that Olson is still singing. In 2019, she appeared on X Factor's Celebrity. Unfortunately, she was sent home in an emotional episode when Simon Cowell chose to save another contestant. She took to Instagram to say how grateful she was for the opportunity and how much it reminded her of her love for performing. By the looks of things, Olson is keeping busy in spite of the X Factor setback. She voiced Vanessa on Phineas and Ferb, collaborating once again with Brodie-Sangster. She has also worked as a voice actor for many other shows and video games, like Adventure Time and the Powerpuff Girls. We can only hope that we get to see her up on stage again soon. Mia was the conniving seductress at the office where Alan Rickman's character worked, who lured him away from the lovely Emma Thompson. She was pretty much the true villain in Love Actually. She even donned devil horns in the art gallery opening. Mia was played by the German actress Heike Makatsch. While Makatsch has worked in English cinema a few times, her real success lies in Germany. She even starred in one of the most expensive German movies ever made, Hilda, a biopic about the German singer Hildegard Knef. It turns out Makatsch also had a pretty interesting personal life. According to Daily Record, she dated 007 himself, Daniel Craig, for 7 years. However, she's no longer a Bond girl. She has since settled down with her Hilda co-star Tristan Pouter. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite stars are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.